If you like body horror films like The Substance, then I may have a new film to put on your radar. I recently watched Kombucha by Jake Myers as part of my remote coverage for Grimfest. I won't be doing YouTube videos for every film that I watch at Grimfest, but I will be doing shorter form videos for most of them, so I'll leave my other socials linked in the description. This was the first film that I watched for Grimfest and it really impressed me, so I wanted to do a longer video. I'm going to do this spoiler free, but I will have a spoiler section at the end for those who have seen the film. So in Kombucha we follow Luke, who is a passionate, aspiring musician, but unfortunately he is yet to have his big break and he is getting behind on some of his bills. His girlfriend is getting a bit fed up with him as well and pushes him to take a new job offer that he recently got. This is a corporate job. It's not something that he particularly wants to do, but it is really good money. His girlfriend is also working at a job that she's not really passionate about. Her passion is drawing, but she hasn't pursued that in years. With their relationship crumbling and in desperation to save what they have, Luke decides to go ahead and take his girlfriend's advice and take this new job. He's not really sure what they actually do there and his colleagues are a little bit strange, but he just tries his best to crack on. It's not long before the other office workers and his manager start asking him if he's tried the kombucha. They have a whole fridge absolutely stacked with it, and they all drink it in the office. He expresses that he's not a massive fan of kombucha, but the constant pressure to try it leads him to giving in. Whilst drinking his first bottle, he realises that his colleagues are in fact right, and it really does have some great benefits, as it's really helping him concentrate and work extra hard. Unfortunately, this kombucha has a lot more side effects and they go much deeper than he ever could have imagined. The title really had me intrigued, which is why I chose it as my first film to cover in this festival. I did pretty much go in blind. I didn't read up anything about it and I didn't watch any trailers. I wasn't sure if the whole film was going to be actually about kombucha or if maybe that was just like a side element or maybe just like a unique quirky name to have for the film. But no, this film is literally about kombucha. It's a satirical body horror mostly set in this corporate environment, which is really fun because we don't have many horror films set in an environment like this. We do have a few, but we definitely need more. The concept is such a unique idea. Taking something like kombucha and making it into a horror film sounds really strange, but weirdly it just worked so well, especially with the dry humour. I definitely do think it helps if you know a little bit about kombucha and how kombucha is made before watching this film, because a lot of terms related to those things are made throughout the film, so definitely help with an understanding for context and especially for some of the jokes. It sounds like a really niche thing to know about, but I would say maybe just look up a little bit about kombucha before watching this film if you want to enhance your experience. I found it to be paced really well. I was entertained throughout and really hooked, especially by the end. The first half of the film is definitely slower, but I did really enjoy the journey of setting the scene and getting to know all of the characters, especially the main character Luke and his girlfriend. They just seemed like real, relatable people with real lives and real struggles. All of the characters were really interesting with some amazing performances and direction. I could definitely see lots of other horror films in this one. A lot of similarities to The Substance, which is of course another body horror. I will get into a few of those points in the spoiler section as I really do want to go over those connections. Any horror film with a consumable product reminds me of The Stuff, and then it being about a corrupt big corporation did remind me of the film Repo the Genetic Opera. The sound design was really impressive with sound effects to enhance tension and build anxiety, as well as a score that really kept you on edge. At times it kind of reminded me of something we may hear in a slasher film with a rapid, repetitive undertone to the beat. Music is a big part of this film with of course our main character Luke being an aspiring musician. It was great to hear his music as well as some other live music we heard too. It fit into the film well and the performances were really impressive. There was a lot of gross bodily fluids, all different kinds. Definitely not a film to watch whilst you're eating. I wouldn't say it's overly gory, it's just like gross. It's a very well made film. It felt very polished and finalized. It looks amazing. There is a lot of cool tones, a lot of blues, which really contrasted with the bright red kombucha. We saw some red lighting towards the end and in other areas where we focused more on the kombucha. But for the most part, it was very cool blue toned, which is interesting because those tones are used a lot in advertisement and marketing. The use of blue makes customers feel calm and it's associated with professionalism alongside some other things, but I'm not going to get into that too much now. But I do wonder if that was maybe one of the reasons for that use, to almost market the kombucha to the viewer, or to maybe make us feel a false sense of security. The cooler tones could have also just been there to enhance the clinical office job feeling. The kombucha red was also used in other ways, like in certain characters' clothing, to emphasize a connection. There were some really jaw-dropping moments, some moments that I definitely didn't expect. This film went there so many times and I really appreciate that. It wasn't afraid to go out of the box and to shock the audience. They use a mix of practical effects and CGI effects. The practical effects look great, very disgusting and realistic. The CGI did look a little bit obvious, but they were disguised well with different lighting that made them a lot more forgiving. It's a story about chasing your dreams. Well, maybe not chasing your dreams, kind of a story more about not chasing your dreams and how so many people are stuck in jobs that they may not be so passionate about, especially if the money is good. It's quite a sad story if you think about it, but the story never actually feels sad whilst you're watching it. It's done in such a fun and wacky way. Overall, I really enjoyed this film. It's fun, has some really funny moments, and is just really well made. I would definitely recommend checking this one out. It's quite rare that I feel this excited about an upcoming film. I think I would rate it an 8 out of 10. I'm not currently sure when it's set to release, but I will try to find out and hopefully it's soon. But definitely keep this one on your radar. So now to get into the spoiler section. This is your warning for spoilers ahead, so don't continue if you haven't seen this film yet. I know most people won't have seen it yet unless you've seen an early screening or been to a horror film festival where it's showing. So save this video and come back once you've seen it, and you can also tell me your thoughts in the comments. In relation to how this film could have taken inspiration from The Substance, not only is it a body horror film that also has a kind of substance with the kombucha, but we do have a few lines in this film. I will read the quotes now. So we have "to be a better version of yourself," followed up with "to be a better version of myself. Need I say more?" We also have the ending where we see the baby. This literally sounds insane out of context, so hopefully you're only watching this section if you actually have seen the film and know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the baby ends up being the better version of Luke, which is very substance coded. I thought it was really funny how the new version of Luke was kind of learning how to be a human and learning how to talk again, but learning how to say like the phrases to customers. So he was literally just been kind of born and he's already learning how to work this corporate job. I also really loved the woman who was convinced that they were vampires and was just like bringing garlic around everywhere. And then garlic ended up being the thing that saved them anyway, because the garlic like destroyed the bacteria or something. The quick shot to the girl dead in the body bag reminded me a lot of jump cuts to disturbing images like in The Ring and Hereditary. Kombucha is very genre bending. The ending is basically kind of like a cosmic horror film. We get some sci-fi creature feature in there towards the end as well, but mainly this is a comical body horror. One last thought is that when we see the mother at the end, it really reminded me of the brain kid from Psycho Gorman, especially when we just kind of see the shape of her in the shadows. So that's the end of this review today. I am really excited to watch more films for Grimfest and hopefully find some more favourites. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in another one very soon.